Welcome to Mr. Positive Live. Please subscribe to my YouTube page at Mr. Positive Live. Click on the bell icon and get notified when we post new videos or go live. Today we're looking at the Moto G Play 2024. Yes, it was released over a year ago. This phone was retailed for $120. It was also retailed on Motorola's website for $150. I think that's a bit steep for this type of phone. We'll get into the details of the phone. I think for under $100, this is a really good phone. This might be the best phone you can get for under $50. It's actually really decent. It runs Android 14, and there's updates for Android 15. You are getting a 6.5-inch HD Plus display that's 720p, okay? You are getting 15-watt fast charging with the charger, okay? You are getting a single stereo speaker on the bottom, noise-canceling microphone. You do have another stereo speaker at the top, which uses the headset. You are getting a volume rocker, fingerprint scanner / power button, and you are getting a 50-megapixel rear camera with a flash at the bottom and an 8-megapixel selfie camera. This comes with the Snapdragon 680 chipset, which we also showed you is in the Blue View, the HMD Vibe, which is running the same chipset, but with only 3 gigabytes of RAM. So this is actually significantly quicker because of that 4 gigabytes of RAM. You're getting 4 gigs of RAM on board, so this does a really solid job in performing daily tasks. It's actually a very, very fast phone. You can play all your modern games on it. So if you're buying this phone for, say, your son, daughter, maybe it's maybe you're just buying it as a device that you can put MP3s on. Maybe you're buying this as an emergency phone, a secondary phone. This is a great device. You could even use this as a standard everyday phone. You got a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. That's up to 48 hours of standby time, and battery time up to 2 days. So, and it charges pretty quick. It can be charged well under an hour. You can get this in an hour and a half to 100%, from 0 to 100% within an hour and a half, okay? So not the slowest charging speeds on any phone. Remember, this is a $50 smartphone or under, so anywhere from $50 to $30. We bought this for $30 on AT&T prepaid, and overall, I'm using this with my Social Security SIM, and it works really well. Again, we'll get to some of the phone. We'll get to some of the things on this phone, some of the gripes that I have with it first. We'll get to the negatives of the phone. I think the texture here, it's like a shiny plastic, and it gets kind of slippery. And I've had it almost slip out of my hand a few times. It hasn't dropped on the floor, but almost like, oh, like that. You know what I mean? I'm just giving you an idea. It's very slippery, so I would suggest maybe getting a case. I know it's not an expensive smartphone, but, you know, you might want to look into a case for the phone. It does have its Moto action, so you do have the flick the flashlight, turn it on, turn it off. You know what I mean? And it's got different Moto actions, and it does have a fingerprint scanner on the side. So the side-mounted fingerprint scanner is actually really, really fast. It takes really solid photos as well. The 50-megapixel camera, that's the only single camera on the rear, gives you decent pictures. The quality can be a little soft in low light. Be aware of that. Maybe turn the flash on. But overall, the phone does do what it's supposed to do. It can video record in 1080p at 30 frames per second. No 4K on this phone. Motorola is trying to sell this on their website for $150. Even now, I think they have it now down to $130. But I still think that's not worth it. I think you get this down to $100, and most carriers are carrying this phone even in 2025. This is still this is still a pretty decent phone, even in 2025 standards. For the inexpensive budget smartphones, this is great because you got 4 gigabytes of internal storage, plus you can turn on virtual memory and get another 4 gigs, so that makes it 8 gigabytes. You are getting 64 gigs of onboard storage, but there is a model that's 128 gigs. You can also expand the storage thanks to micro SD card support, and you can get an additional 2 terabytes or 1 terabyte or 128 gigs. This has only got 64 gigs on board, and I think Android is using about maybe 13 gigabytes. So just be aware of that. So you're going to run out of storage pretty quick if you're using this as a media device, downloading music, or even making videos. So it's not that the phone isn't good, but I'm just going to get to the gripe. I think a phone at this price, the fact that Lenovo or Motorola is trying to sell this, even in 2025, at $130, the price, if you just walk into your local Walmart, like I said, this is running on AT&T prepaid, good deal. It is a 4G LTE phone. The fact that Motorola is trying to sell this to consumers without 5G on here at $150 to $120 or $130, I think is a ripoff. You can get 5G smartphones like the Galaxy A15 5G for under $100. Okay, I've seen it sold at Walmart for $50, and you walk out, you get a 5G smartphone. Okay, it may not be the most powerful phone, but at least you get a 5G. This is only running 4G LTE, which is not a big deal. Most areas are still using, the majority of most regions are using 4G LTE. But to keep this phone future-proof, which I'm not sure if Motorola is coming out with a Moto G Play 2025 5G maybe at some point. I would say if you have to choose between this phone or the Moto G 2024 5G, I would take the Moto G 2024 5G because you're getting pretty much similar performance, but you're getting 120 hertz refresh rate. This does give you 90 hertz refresh rate, which is good, and it does help with like Facebook. Like everything still loads pretty quick on here. You can see it loaded Facebook pretty good. Give me a second. But you can see that it still it struggles a little bit, but it still loads pretty good with that 90 hertz refresh rate. But overall, you do have to understand these type of phones do come with 90 hertz refresh rate. It is snappy overall. I've had no issues loading, say, the Google Play Store. Sometimes you do have to hit it a few times, but it loads up just no problem. It does have Gorilla Glass 3. It does have a splash coating on there, so that is good. Let's see here. Overall, the phone is pretty decent. Not much bad to say about it outside of just the fact that they're trying to sell this as a $150 smartphone when it first came out, and it has no 5G connectivity or anything. So if you're going to go with this phone, if I had to choose between this, the Moto G Play 2024, or the Moto G 5G 2024, I would go with the Moto G 5G 2024 over this one because you're getting 5G, you're getting the 5G network, you're getting NFC, you're getting 120 hertz refresh rate, you're getting stereo speakers. You are getting stereo speakers on here. Now, for under $50, this is a hell of a deal. Okay, all day. It actually does beat the HMD Vibe, which is still a really solid phone, and they're both running the same chipset, but this one's a little quicker. Okay. Overall, I can't say a whole lot bad about the phone. I just think that even for $100, even now, they're trying to still sell this on Motorola's website for $130. Okay, I think that's a ripoff. I think if you can go into your local Walmart, avoid buying this on Motorola's website. $100 or under. If you can get this phone for $30 is what I paid, get it on prepaid. Like this one works on my SIM card. It's not AT&T. Works on Tag Mobile. It's great. Everything works fine. The internet works good. It works like it's supposed to. Okay. Overall, no problems. I love the fact it's got 4 gigs of internal storage and then another 4 gigs of virtual RAM. I have that turned on. I like the fact that we got an update to Android 15. We actually did. It's fast. And if you can expand the storage, this beats going out and spending $1,000 on the latest iPhone or going out and spending $800 on an iPhone that is worth twice as much as this. You can get, I'll be honest with you, you can get 10 of these as the price of one iPhone 16 is. Okay, you can get about 10 of these, about maybe 8 or 9 of these for the price of one iPhone 16. Okay, this gives you a 90 hertz refresh rate, which is still really good. You are getting a decent, vibrant IPS panel, 6.5 inches, 720p. Colors do pop; they're not that bad, and it does have decent viewing. It does have very decent viewing angles. Not the worst panel I've ever seen, so it's not washed out like I've seen some Motorola phones. You can turn this all the way up. It gets up to 300 nits of brightness, so it's not the brightest phone on the market, but I get the job done, okay? So let's go over the bonuses here. You do have a decent camera layout here. The cameras are, it gives you photo, portrait. It does give you just standard mode, a professional mode, and a slow motion, okay? Again, you can shoot video 1080p, 30 frames per second. Again, it's running Android. If you get this, it's probably going to be running Android 14 out of the box. You can upgrade it to Android 15. It does give you that. And you are getting, again, most of the ones I've seen are 64 gigs of internal storage, but you can get one with 128 gigs through their website, Motorola's website. Let's get into the positives of the phone. Nice bright screen, 300 nits of brightness. May not sound the greatest, but for a budget phone under 50 bucks, we're not going to pitch. We're not going to complain. Nice 8-megapixel camera. Does a really good job of bringing up quality and softening up the skin if you take in portrait modes. It has a Snapdragon 680 chipset, which only a few years ago was considered a mid-range chipset. It does run all your apps. It runs Call of Duty Mobile with settings turned down. It runs most of your games, no problem. Genshin Impact, all those games run just fine on this. Okay, Mario Kart, you can play that on here, no problem. Runs good. It's a good phone. That 50-megapixel camera is decent. I would have liked to have seen a secondary camera, but that's okay. The Moto actions are really cool. So if the power goes out, you've got different ways of opening the light. The fact it's running Android 15 is great. Okay. Again, the cameras are good. I give the cameras a 5. 1 out of 5. 5 is good. Camera's passable. Okay. Video recording is pretty good. Give it about a 4. Overall build quality, it's a little shiny, so it does kind of get slippery. So you might want to get a grip case for this phone. Now, it's not expensive or anything, but I would still say get a case that can be gripped. Now, like the Moto G 5G 2024 has a leather back, okay, or fake leather back, but it's got a nice texture to it. So you're not going to drop it. You're holding something special. This is shiny. It's a nice color, but you're holding something with plastic, okay? Overall, the buttons feel a little cheap. That is one of the negatives of the phone. The buttons are kind of cheap. Not the best button quality. The Type-C charging here is pretty good. It's 15 watts, so it's not too bad. The other bonus to this is it's got Dolby Atmos, okay? So if you plug in a pair of headphones that supports Dolby Atmos, you're going to hear some good audio quality. Has an FM radio built in. Phone call quality is good. This phone gets a pass. My negatives with the phone is Motorola trying to sell this as a $150 smartphone. They're still trying to sell this as a $130 phone right now in 2025. It is not a 5G phone. It is a 4G LTE model device. And it's still a decent deal for under 50 bucks. Or you can get this phone for under 50, that's better. Okay? It is a little bit better. Okay? This is a slightly better phone than the HMD Vibe, which we looked at. I still like the HMD Vibe, but I think this one's just a little snappier thanks to the extra RAM and the virtual RAM. You are getting virtual RAM on the HMD Vibe, but it's only 3 gigabytes on top of 3 gigabytes, so give or take. I like the fact that the HMD Vibe is giving you 2 cameras versus 1. This is a negative for this phone, but the camera still runs pretty good. Okay. Overall, Moto G Play 2024 gets a pass. It's a solid smartphone for what you're going to be doing with it. Basic usage, web browsing, maybe some light gaming. Pretty much any app's going to work good. Facebook does have a 90 hertz refresh rate. Not going to complain. Thanks for watching Mr. Positive Live.